You see him at ESPN, Baseball Tonight, Sports Center, ESPN the magazine. Started off as a newspaper writer, and a late bloomer on TV is Tim Kurkjian.
Right, I went on TV when I was about 40 years old, and I started wearing more makeup than my wife. I spent a fortune on clothes. I started talking to myself an awful lot. You know all about this, but it's been a great second kind of a career. I'll always be a writer first, but there's something really cool about the immediacy of television, that when I see something, I can talk about it right now, as opposed to wait until the next morning to see it in the paper, or when I was at Sports Illustrated, you had to wait a whole week to see what you did. Now you can get it off your chest right away.
Did you have any wildest dreams that you knew you're a good writer because you got a couple of books, very successful books, the old Washington Star, the Baltimore News American, but now doing something like you're doing for ESPN, that's a whole different ball game and a different level of work that you're doing every day, every night.
Right, and what I love most about it is the interaction with the other guys at ESPN. For instance, to go to ESPN and watch 15 games at the same time with John Kruk on my left and Bobby Valentine on my right, or when Buck Showalter was there and he'd look at me and go, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And I say, "No, what? What did I miss?" And then he would tell me, and that's the best part, is when you're sitting next to those guys, you're learning more about the game than you could possibly learn anywhere else.
You got your start, and correct me if I'm wrong, your brothers, two of your brothers went to Catholic University, played for Coach Bob Talbot. You and your dad used to go to the games and keep statistics. Coach Talbot said to me he wasn't sure if you're there keeping statistics on him or your brothers.
Well, my dad was a mathematician from MIT with a practical application towards baseball on everything that he ever did. So you got to think my dad's going to keep the stats on my oldest brother, especially who was breaking all the home run records at Catholic U. So this is why I ended up doing what I do, is that we spoke baseball in my house every single day back to when I was 4 years old. It was the only thing we talked about in my house. So when my brothers had a big game, you can bet my dad and I were there to watch.
How about your first assignment for the Dallas Morning News? You went out to do a football coach. Quite interesting story.
Yeah, it was Ron Meyer. There was a rumor that Ron Meyer, the SMU coach, was going to be the next coach of the New England Patriots. So somehow I ended up doing this story. And believe me, Johnny, I didn't know Ron Meyer from Oscar Mayer, but I finally found his house. I walked to the door. This is 1981, and I knock on the door and I say, "Hi, I'm Tim Kurkjian with the Dallas Morning News." And he takes one look at me because it's 1981 and I'm about 3'11", and he says, "Okay, I'll go get you your money." So he thought I was the paper boy, and I had to explain, look, I'm really not the paper boy. I'm a real reporter with a real newspaper. And eventually he told me the story. But that was the day when I said, look, I'm going to go cover baseball. That's what I like best, and they don't think I'm a paper boy in that sport.
Let me ask you about a couple of guys in this ball club. Jason Worth, number one, Wilson Ramos, another guy, young guy, and the kid up there at Hagerstown, Bryce Harper.
Well, we'll start with Worth. He's a very good player, and I think he's been thrust into a situation where he doesn't have Ryan Howard and Chase Utley around him. He doesn't even have Ryan Zimmerman. I think he's pressing. I think the money's on his weighting him down a little bit. I think eventually he's going to be a very good player for this team. Wilson Ramos is already a good player. I talked to Buck Showalter the other day, and I said, "You just saw the Nationals. What did you see?" And he said, "I saw Wilson Ramos, I'll tell you that." Everyone in the game realizes this kid is going to hit, and hit in the middle of the order. He can really handle himself behind the plate. I think they made a terrific deal getting him from the Twins. And the last guy is Bryce Harper, Johnny, and I'm telling you, I'm not sure we've ever seen anybody like this for a really long time. Bobby Valentine said he's never seen a 17-year-old play baseball like this guy did last year. This spring, I'm the first to tell you, I didn't think he'd get a hit off big league hitting pitchers for a while. He tore it up in spring training. Jim Riggleman told me he had 5 fastballs up here, hard in spring training. He said most young hitters can't get to that.
That's 17. No?
Most old hitters can't get to that. He got to both of them. Now he's tearing it up in the minor leagues. I think he's going to be a tremendous major league player for a long time, and I think it's going to start at age 20, 21 at the latest, and I think when he gets here, he's never going back down.
You surprised the pitching has been this good for this ball club? I think a lot of people on paper, when you saw top to bottom back in spring training, the best club this team has put on the field in the 6 years they've been in Washington. The pitching so far ahead, now if the hitting can catch up, all of a sudden this team is going to embrace the fans will embrace the team.
All right, I'm I'm stunned how well they've pitched. I thought they will average 5 innings per start this year, and they went, 30 games into the year without anybody going less than 5 innings. Tremendous. And again, it gives you hope that with Strasburg coming back next year and Zimmerman going the way that he's going, and all these other young pitchers, including Drew Storen in the bullpen, this is how you win with young pitching, and it appears they have it. The future here, Johnny, is very bright. People just have to kind of get through this year until Strasburg, Harper, and some of these young guys take another step towards getting here.
You have to get through this night because tomorrow is a very special day for you and your son in high school.
Right. Jeff Kurkjian graduates tomorrow from Quince Orchard High School. He's the school president and has been for 4 years, and the first person to speak tomorrow at graduation will be my son.
Wow.
And he read me his speech the other night. I don't mind telling you this. I got a little tear in my eye, and we'll all
wait till
be
tomorrow.
There. We'll be there in force tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's as big a day as we'll have in our family since my daughter graduated 2 years ago.
Tim, thank you so much. Great to see you, my friend, and so happy for your success, too.
Well, thank you, Johnny.